Hey guys, Marco here. You know what today is, right? It's the best day of the month. It's the What I Watched This Month May edition. And yes, I know I'm about a week and a half late, but guess who doesn't give a shit? This guy. To say that May started off on a rough note is kind of an understatement with this first movie. I watched Coneheads, guys. And no, that is not a typo. That is a question mark, an exclamation point, and a question mark out of 5. Honestly, I watched it with a group of friends on an online watch party, and I think we were all just baffled. Like, what did I watch? I think that's the best way to put it, though, is that when you're watching, you're just baffled that somebody wrote this, and then somebody wanted to make this, and somebody wanted to be a part of this. Like, it blew my mind watching it. Not to mention, I just felt very uncomfortable watching this. The design of the Coneheads. Alright, I've given enough time to Coneheads, we're moving on. After that, I watched The Mitchells vs. the Machines with my sister, and we both thought it was great. What I think I loved so much about this is just how energetic it was. It was fast-paced, it was funny, it was energetic, action-packed, emotional, and everything happened scene to scene, back to back. And for as much fun as I heard it was, I really gotta give credit to the emotional side of it. Maybe it's the fact that it was about a struggling video director who really wanted to make a name for herself, but everybody just didn't take her seriously and didn't want to put that effort into her, and just, yeah, I could kind of relate to this. Next up, I rewatched Mission Impossible. I did a marathon of all these movies before Fallout came out, but some of my friends were starting to do their own marathon, so I said, I'll join in for a few here and there. And rewatching it again, I kind of realized how important and like pivotal this was for the spy, action, thriller kind of genre. It really did lay a lot of foundation into kind of what we get nowadays. And yes, in comparison, this one's a lot slower than the later ones where, you know, Tom Cruise is jumping out of airplanes and shit. But I actually dig the vibe of this one. It's more espionage, a little more calmer, cooler. Next up, I finally got around to watching the Netflix documentary, The Last Dance. This was the Michael Jordan documentary about him and his 90s Bulls and their dominance through that era. I thought this show was phenomenal. It went on for 10 episodes, but I easily could have watched another 10. If you know me, I'm a big sports guy. I not only love the sports, but I love the behind the scenes look at sports as well. And this show shows that little, you know, peek into the back door so perfectly. You know, you don't just see Michael Jordan and all these superstars as, you know, athletes. You see them as people that have to go through the pressure of all the things that they have to do, all the interviews, the press, everything that they do in their lives affects not just themselves, but the game around them. Like, it's crazy that that exists or that happens the way it does. I was also a really big fan of how they approach the storytelling in this. It's told in that Memento kind of way where one timeline's going one way, one timeline's going the other, and then they just meet in the middle at the, you know, at the peak. Honestly, I could talk for hours about how much I loved this show, the emotion I felt when Jordan won his first, Jordan's little speech about how and why he treated players the way he did and how it affected how people thought of him, and just the editing's so good. I think the perfect way to summarize how I feel is that after watching this, I felt sad that I wasn't able to watch Michael Jordan in his prime, like that era. It made me sad that I wasn't able to witness it live. But I guess this documentary was the next best thing. After that, I rewatched Liar Liar. Jim Carrey is a very talented man. I just love how he's able to bring so much bodily energy to every single role that he does. He acts with every inch of his body, and you can really tell, and it makes it so much better, the performances. After that, I rewatched Mission Impossible 3. Yes, I skipped Mission Impossible 2 because I wasn't gonna do that to myself. But Mission Impossible 3 I actually really like. My boy J.J. Abrams came into a dying franchise and brought it back to life. Not like he hasn't done that before. What I enjoy so much about this one is that it just never stops. It's literally an action-packed thrill ride for 2 hours. There's so many good scenes in this. Philip Seymour Hoffman is a great villain. And yeah, it was just the adrenaline, you know, the adrenaline kick that the Mission Impossible franchise needed, and that it grew and adapted from here on out. Then I watched the new Amazon Prime show, Invincible. From the first episode, you know, the cliffhanger on the first episode, I was like, sign me up, I'm in, you got me. Then as I was watching more and more episodes, I realized I was kind of watching a hybrid between Spider-Man and Dragon Ball Z, which explains why I loved it so much. Spider-Man's always been my favorite superhero because he has to balance the normal life of an everyday human and that superhero life. And he's doing it in high school. He has his own problems, his own relationships. And the more drama that you can throw into someone's life, you know, on the big screen, the more entertaining it is. And I think that's what the writers absolutely nailed here. Make Mark's life as miserable as possible and everybody will connect to him. Give him an annoying ass girlfriend and all of us lads will side with him. Team E for life, baby. But yeah, I love this and I can't wait for more seasons. After that, I watched The F Word, or What If, depending on where you're located. I thought this movie was pretty adorable and pretty damn hilarious as well. The two main leads have great chemistry and Adam Driver and Mackenzie Davis steal every scene. I do think that cute romantic dialogue does get a little too quirky for me at certain points. Like they're trying too hard, you know what I mean? Just make it a little more natural. But other than that, I thought this was a great little rom-com that isn't, you know, a shitty rom-com. Also, can I just say this? Being Canadian from the Toronto area, I love when movies take place here. And the fact that this one did put a smile on my face. After that, I watched 10 Years. I thought this was a great little look at life after high school. How people move on, people's lives change, some people don't, and you know, it was interesting to see. The cast here is, the cast is stacked here. I was surprised to see how many people were in this. The chemistry between all of them was great as well. But if there's one person that you're talking about by the end of this movie, it is 100% Oscar Isaac. He sings a song that he both wrote and performed for this movie. When he sang in this, oh, the whole world just stopped. And finally, I watched Zack Snyder's Army of the Dead, which, to be honest with you, I wasn't a big fan of. I just thought this was super boring and super wasted. The premise on its own could have been so interesting, but again, wasted. This reminded me a lot of Suicide Squad, if I'm being honest. When you looked at the marketing for Suicide Squad, the posters, everything seemed so bright, vibrant, everything was gonna be fun. That's what they were pushing, right? Then you look at the posters for Army of the Dead, the premise, zombie attacks in Las Vegas. Money, this is gonna be fun. And then for 2.5 hours, you get the shallowest depth of field on the darkest palette that you can imagine of people walking up and down dark alleyways and deserted paths. Like, what kind of bullshit was that? I wanted something fun. I wanted Dawn of the Dead Part 2 in Las Vegas. I did not get that. I will say this, there's a scene near the end where they're in a casino, they're lighting up zombies, pop, 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 slow motion, money's going everywhere, tables are flipping, and I'm like, if the movie was 2 hours of this would have been 5 stars, easy. But because this was only 5 minutes of a 2.5 hour movie, not today, Zach, not today. And yeah, that's everything that I watched this month. Woo! But yeah, I watched some great shows this month, and I started a new show that hopefully I will finish for next month. Hopefully the 1.5 week wait was worth it. You're welcome. If you guys enjoyed the video, leave a like, subscribe. It not only helps me out, but it means a lot. You can follow me on all my socials, including my letterbox where I log all of these movies in the description down below. And until next time, I'm Marco Pereira. Ciao for now.